I think dogs for people my age are great companions, but I would recommend you get a mature dog, not a puppy. You're going to push me forward? Better? Yeah, that's fine. I think it was in the same place as it was last week. Okay. Stand up straight, Elizabeth. My mother is talking to me. All right, I'm ready to begin. Oh, I forgot water. Thank you. This is an interesting, okay. All right, good morning, everyone. Welcome to Art with Liz on April 23rd, day after Earth Day, here at the beautiful Hoboken Library. Mega thanks to the library for hosting these wonderful hybrid art classes that enable people to come in person to the library space and also to enjoy these classes in the privacy of your own home studio. We are live on Zoom, as well as available on YouTube, should you miss the class in person. April has many themes. It is National Poetry Month. It is Jazz Appreciation Month and Muslim American Heritage Month. Today, we are going to explore the jazz aspect of the month, and we are going to look at the visual art of the legendary jazz trumpeter, Miles Davis. It is a little known fact that not only was Davis an extraordinary musician and composer, but he was a pretty darn good visual artist as well. He loved drawing and painting. He sketched from a very young age, but for most of his life, his musical career made it very difficult for him to do his visual art. So he's widely considered to be one of the most acclaimed and influential jazz musicians of the 20th century. I personally think he's one of the greatest musicians, not just jazz musicians, but one of the greatest musicians and composers who has ever lived. And he was at the forefront of some of the major stylistic developments in jazz. He was born into an upper middle class family in Alton. His father was a dentist. He started playing trumpet at the age of 13 and moved to New York in 1944 after receiving a scholarship to attend the Juilliard School. So, as always, we're going to start by looking at a slideshow of his work for inspiration. And after that, we are going to do our own artwork. I'm hoping too, Robin said she was going to bring her Bluetooth speaker. I'm hoping that we can have some wonderful music while we work today.
My son was inspired by him and had a minor in music from college in jazz.
How fabulous is that? What is his instrument? The keyboard, piano. Wonderful. Does he like John Baptiste? Do you know? Okay. John Baptiste is a contemporary pianist who I think is just amazing. You might want to look him up. All right. So while at Juilliard, it didn't take Davis Long to really immerse himself in the New York jazz scene. In fact, he spent a lot of time cutting class. He didn't go too much to class at Juilliard. He spent most of his time hanging out in the jazz clubs in New York City, much to his father's dismay. He did manage to learn a lot of music theory while there, but he was pretty much ticked off by the fact that most of the music they studied was white classical European music, and he was offended by that. He began playing alongside jazz greats like Charlie Parker, his hero, and he released his own first album, Birth of the Cool, in 1957. So this kind of painting is pretty emblematic of the kind of work that Davis did. He was pretty much an abstract painter. He liked including things like faces and figures in his work. He tried to incorporate the figure into his work as much as possible. You can see some figurative aspects in this work. For example, to me, this figure over in the right hand, I think of this picture as having 4 quadrants, but in this right hand quadrant over here, if you use your imagination, it looks like a figure from above, almost as if the guy is wearing a straw hat and his arms are outstretched. So it's almost as if you're looking at a small, maybe a quartet of jazz musicians from above. You're looking down on them.
It reminds me of musical notes, the notation of notes.
All right.
These shapes and the way they have a rhythm to them.
There's a definite rhythm to this. Thank you, Ken.
Yeah.
Folks at home, Ken was saying that this reminds him of musical notation. So there is a lot of movement in the shapes in this piece. And he's very drawn to shape, color, line, and texture, all those elements of art that we've been talking about forever.
It's probably the stems on shapes, and then you have the round shapes.
Mhm.
That's part of it too.
The long lines with the circles look like notes. Then I'm seeing things like the profile of a face over here, which could also be the edges of a bass. You know how a bass curves in and out on the side.
I see another face in yellow too,
All right.
looking down.
Oh, cool. Yes, now I see it.
I think you're right. He's like,
I feel like it's an aerial view,
yeah. I see
but
that.
who knows? So Davis assembled his first important band in 1955 together with John Coltrane. These are all jazz greats: Red Garland, Paul Chambers, Billy Joe Jones, and later Cannonball Adderley. At this point, Davis was influenced by the musical theory of George Russell and had begun playing in modes rather than standard chord changes, which was really a huge deal in the world of jazz music. And this led to his most famous album, Kind of Blue, in 1959, which still remains one of the largest selling jazz albums of all time and one of the largest selling albums of all time. So what led him to do visual art? He was in a car accident in 1972, major car accident, and he disappeared from the jazz scene for some time to recover from that accident and also from his drug problem. He was heavily addicted to cocaine. It was a problem for him for his entire life. He was also an alcoholic. So during this period, he found that he could turn to painting, which it became a big part of the last decades of his life. And he once explained, quote, painting is like therapy for me and keeps my mind occupied with something positive when I'm not playing music. So art can be therapy. It is a great way to escape from problems, to help you find emotional joy, particularly in periods of stress, depression, or unhappiness. And Miles Davis was famously a dark soul. He was depressed pretty much his entire life. Even through his music, he never really found true joy, although his music has a lightness to it. And for his whole life, through his painting, particularly in the final years of his life, he was trying to find that kind of lightness and freshness in his paintings, through his music and his paintings. He always liked sketching, but now it became a serious part of his life when he was in this period of recovery. He worked on his paintings every day when he wasn't touring, and he approached painting with the same obsessive creativity he applied to his music. He was obsessive compulsive about composing and playing. He practiced constantly on his trumpet, but then when he became physically unable to work with the trumpet, painting became the outlet for him. And he approached it in the same way that he did his music. So his painterly style was vivid and bold. He incorporated bright colors and geometric shapes. And the biggest influences for him were other artists like Kandinsky, whom we've spoken of, Jean-Michel Basquiat, Pablo Picasso, and African tribal art. He frequently used these light, sweet colors. I have a quote somewhere which says he was looking for the candy sweetness, fantasy aspects of life in his paintings. He was trying to escape the darker aspects of his mind through his paintings. It didn't always show visually in his work. Often his paintings were as dark as the mood he was working through. He said, quote, music is a painting you can hear. I love this. You might want to write this down, some of you. He said, music is a painting you can hear, and a painting is music that you can see. You can see the influence of Basquiat in work like this and his love for African culture and masks in this, I think. Painting is like therapy for me, he says, and keeps, I don't know, I'm a little confused about where I am in these pages. Sorry, give me a minute. Yeah, I've lost the order in which these go. Yeah, we read that. It keeps his mind occupied. Read this. Problem of having double-sided pages. So he was creating till the very end. He met a woman in the building where he lived in New York City named Jo Gelbard, who was a sculptor, and they began working together. She became his teacher, and they would often collaborate together on paintings. And eventually they became romantically involved as well. One of the paintings they created together became the cover of a 1989 album that he made called Amandla. He was very prolific in both his music and painting, even until the end of his life. And as Gelbard notes, quote, his choice in the last year of his life was to almost accelerate the process because he worked tremendously. Again, you can see the darkness of his soul, but also the love for African mask and aesthetic in his work. Again, you can see the influence of somebody like Jean-Michel Basquiat and his love for faces, meaning Davis's love for faces. So Gelbard was a huge influence on him. She said that in the beginning, he layered the paint on so thickly that she said for her, it was almost like children's work. And she felt it was her job to help him find a more delicate, distinctly painterly style in line with his musical sensibilities. And she says, this is the Sweetness Candy quote. She says, people think of him as such a violent, dark, heavy character, but what he was looking for in life is this sweetness, this candy, this pink and happy light-filled space that he got lost in. It was his fantasy. It was what he was searching for and didn't have, but it was somehow in his soul. I find the sweetness in this painting. Some of the faces are very sweet, almost cute.
Chicken.
And the little chicken. He was a tortured soul. I think this is something particularly for Black artists and Black musicians, jazz musicians of that particular period, that we don't think much about. The pressure, the emotional, social pressure on them must have been to achieve, to be successful 24/7, must have been huge. And maybe still is. Not knowing what it's like to be in their shoes, I can only imagine. Questlove has, there are some great interviews of Questlove where he talks about the pressure of what it's like to be constantly in the public eye and being expected to achieve at the very highest level constantly in your life, and how depressing it can be. And for Miles Davis, you know, the expectations must have been extraordinary. And according to Questlove, this is why so many of the great musicians have turned to drugs and have become addicted. One man's opinion on the subject. All right, I'm going to go through this quickly now, the slideshow quickly. Davis did die from various bodily failings because of the way he had treated his body throughout his life, you know, liver failure, diabetes, heart failure. He didn't die a pretty death. It took him a few years to die. He and Joe Gelbard were painting together till the very last day. She worked with him on the final painting. As always, if you have any thoughts or comments, feel free to share. I like to think he found some relief, some joy, some respite. He did say that he found joy through his painting and his art. I hope he found a lot.
it's not what he's widely known for. So there's definitely a lot of less pressure on him when he does this type of art.
And you bring up an interesting thing too. His work was not widely shown when he was alive, but since then it has been shown. His estate mounted a big show in 2013 for all of his work. I do have somewhere facts about where it was shown. If I find it while you're working. Ah, no, here it is. He died in 1991, and there was a show called The Collected Artwork. Or no, there was a book called The Collected Artwork published in 2013, which offered a comprehensive overview of the art. I like this one. A lot of power, motion, energy in this one. They varied in size, all different sizes. This one feels a lot like Basquiat to me too. For those of you who remember Basquiat's work, what do you think?
Painting in the Clouds, John Laurie too,
Uh-huh.
part of that crew.
Has that kind of graffiti feel to it. The quickness of the lines, the scratchiness.
It's very New York. This is like to me, this is like a East Village thrift store. The purple, velvety feel of it.
Huh, nice. It's a nice description. So I'm ending with a painting of Miles Davis. I don't think this one is painted by Miles Davis, but it's quite a famous portrait of Miles Davis. And I want to just say that quote from him again, or quote in which he's referred to. He said, music is a painting you can hear, and a painting is music that you can see. All right. Any thoughts, questions, ideas about Davis's visual work? Yes. You can see the shape of the trumpet and the music flowing out of it at the bottom. Yep.
It's like his aura.
Well, it's the music made visual.
Yeah. The red around his hair.
What? But she hadn't said it was him. I never would have seen it.
No.
It just looked like.
So here is his head.
I see it.
Yeah, I can see it all.
Here is the trumpet.
Yeah.
His hand.
His jacket.
His jacket.
Yeah.
Wearing some kind of purple pattern jacket.
Yeah.
I see
And
it.
he's very famous. He always wore shades when he was performing on stage. The other thing he was famous for is he usually performed with his back to the audience. He never faced forward when he was performing.
He was married to Cicely Tyson.
He was married to so many women, I can't even list them all.
She, I mean,
Yes, she was,
I would have loved to be a fly on the wall just to be.
yes, she herself was a brilliant artist, yes. I didn't want to get into this aspect of Davis's life because we could talk about it forever, but he was not good to the women in his life, to put it mildly. He was incredibly abusive to women. Some people attribute that to his drug and alcohol addiction. Many people think his addiction started when he was young because he was a victim of something called sickle cell anemia, which many, particularly African American people, although it's a genetic disease for many ethnic groups, it's a very painful disease, and some people claim that Davis self-medicated to overcome the physical pain that he lived with for his entire life. I don't know. Many jazz musicians of that era became addicted to cocaine and heroin, and certainly, I don't want to say the majority of jazz musicians in the 50s were alcoholics, but many of them drank heavily, and it affected his behavior for sure. He claimed that he hallucinated frequently when he was drunk and high on drugs, and that is what controlled his behavior. And he said over and over again how sorry he was for how he treated the women in his life. And he loved all of the women in his life, but he beat them terribly. So, not the way I wanted to end this discussion about Miles Davis. It is something that I struggle with in my own moral code. There are many geniuses who have mistreated their loved ones, thinking of Pablo Picasso as one example. Does it make them less of a genius? We could talk about this forever. I leave it to you as individuals to struggle with in your own moral code. I don't know. I don't know the answer. It's a very difficult question. You have to come to a decision about that in your own heart and in your own mind.
There might not be only one answer.
Right. Life has a lot of subtleties, a lot of complications, a lot of layers, a lot of things that complicate it. Ken, I don't know if folks at home heard that, but Ken just said there might not be one answer. We never know what causes people to behave the way that they do. And it's so easy to condemn. It's so easy to judge.
Generational trauma is real.
Generational trauma is real. Hatred, bigotry, racism,
There's
all of
new-
that is real.
There's new studies that show that scientists didn't used to think so, but emotional trauma can be transmitted
Yes,
to
generation.
generations, not through environment or relationships, but chemically.
Yes. So it does not.
It affects the sperm and so forth, and then that carries over to the next generation.
Yes. I don't believe it condones or forgives bad behavior, but certainly there are many factors in why people behave and individuals behave the way they do. Is it right or wrong what they do? That is up to you as an individual to decide. Laura.
Fact, he's buried at Woodlawn Cemetery in the jazz corner, I believe. A lot of jazz musicians
Yes.
that are buried there. He's a beautiful headstone underneath a tree that's there. I've seen it. But if you're a lot of other
Yes.
jazz artists, it's a great place. You can picnic there. It's a nature preserve, Woodlawn Cemetery. A lot of people don't know you can spend hours there.
Yes.
And what it is. But it's a lot of mausoleums, very, very important
Yes.
people of their time.
This is true. Woodlawn Cemetery is where Davis is buried. Many people make pilgrimages there. You're right.
Woodlawn Cemetery.
And I forget, his daughter put something on the gravestone. It says, "Sir," I think, because he was knighted by, I think, oh, this is my plumber. This is my plumber, everybody. Sorry. He was knighted by Barbados or one of the Caribbean countries. If you're interested, I have it in my notes somewhere. Oh, here's an interesting fact, and then we're going to go to work. November 5th, 2009, his album Kind of Blue on its 50th anniversary. Want to get this right, was commemorated by the House of Representatives as a cultural national treasure, which I think is pretty amazing. And then the westernmost part of 77th Street in New York City has been named Miles Davis Way. He once lived on the block. Okay, the trumpet Davis used on the recording, Kind of Blue, is displayed on the campus of the University of North Carolina at Greensboro. Any other thoughts, questions about Miles? Okay, so today, let me stop the share. If it's gonna let me. No. Let me hit escape. Good. Today, we ourselves are going to create an abstract painting. And we've been doing quite a bit of this lately. I have palette knives because he liked to apply the paint thickly. So I invite you to do that. I've also brought in plastic forks and knives and spoons for you to experiment. You can do scratchings, you can do scoopings, you can play around with the paint today. In honor of Davis, I'm inviting you to go sweet and candy and light. We are in a spring month. We are in a time of, some people might think, darkness in the United States. Let's move away from that in our artwork today. Let's think happiness and joy and springtime and rebirth. Let's help Miles wherever he might be right now. Let's help ourselves attain the lightness of being. Any questions? Great book by Milan Kundera, Italian author. We're hoping, Robin, were you able to bring your speaker?
I'm sorry.
Did you bring your
I
speaker?
wrote the speaker. Kind of blue. So we can play music.
So we're going to hear some music by Miles Davis himself while we work. Why don't we get our supplies and get set up first, Robin? And then once people are settled into work, we will have some musical accompaniment. All right, let's go have some fun. Oh, and one other suggestion, since Miles liked doing faces, why don't you see if you can work faces into the composition of your abstract painting today? Play around first. Remember I said figures frequently evolve and come alive in abstract work. See if you can make faces emerge from the paint today. Eyes, nose, mouth, heads. I bet, my prediction is they're going to pop out automatically. Good. Yeah, I would prefer at the end. Don't take them out now because you run the risk of them getting ruined or something. I'm just going to run next door to, oh, I have to.
Like that. TV close.
Yep.
I almost, I think. It's crazy. The buses are crazy.
Isn't it great to have Robin back? Yay. I'm going to put a picture of Miles Davis's work up for those of you who learn through direct observation. This one, though, I think you could maybe do better on your own. Okay, this is probably his most well-known work, but it's not the sweet candy, so I'm not going to put that one up. There's also watercolor paint back there. If you don't want to use the acrylics, if you don't want to go thick and gloppy. So I'm going to put up a watercolor actually on the big screen. Oh no, that's not what I wanted. I wanted to do the reverse.
At least show them what you want.
Oh, I did show this one in the slideshow. This is the happiest looking one of all, right? Ken, you have some of the most insightful comments. Thank you.
You're welcome. Sometimes I have them out in class, but I haven't had time to like mark it down. But maybe I'll get around to it.
How you doing?
Yeah.
All right. So let's have, get a cup of water and I'll be right back. So you made a decision already, or you want me to help you? This is nice.
Let's, yeah, let's.
Very lightweight.
Well,
That's a blend.
yeah, now it's a 3 pieces and we come like this. It's,
It might only be one.
okay.
It depends how things look and which room we have to be honest.
Or I could like smaller versions of it.
These two are my favorite. I like this one. These two feel the most fully realized.
Okay.
If you want, I'll take all three.
We only need 2, right?
Only two. These two are great.
Okay.
Do you want me to have them in the plastic sleeve for protection? I
Oh,
think I'm gonna do it, if I can.
up to you.
Yeah, we'll see how it looks. So I'm hanging your work with office clips, what I call bull clips. I don't want to damage.
Right. So I printed this on my inkjet printer, but I ran out of black printed cloth, so I went back to charcoal. It comes off a little bit.
Yeah, so I'm gonna try and keep it in minutes. So it doesn't get there. Love that. You might want to come on Sunday and create a sticker with your name on it. So you can put it on here.
Oh, underneath.
You can put it on the plastic envelope, not on the work.
Oh. Okay. Okay.
That way people will see who the artist is.
What time?
Curtis, you wanna come help on Saturday? So, James. Was young driving, he put in his class, he was late. He could find his Susan London. He's coming to my house.
Did you do Mike Tyson?
Yeah.
Yes.
235 Garden Street.
Was that
Work here. He's gonna help me load my car with the display ribbons and all the lights. And then he's gonna, I'm gonna drive all that, I don't know, once the display units are in, I don't know if it fit my car. So then I'm gonna drive their display units over to Irving, Washington. Doing this other guy, Nikolai is little. Never met with them. They help me unload the display units and set them up, and then start.
Awesome.
It's Sunday or Sunday?
The art show is Sunday, April 27th, from 11 a.m. till 6 p.m. If you have art in the show, I recommend you come and sit. You don't have to sit for the whole day, but come
Am
for
I
a
too
couple of
late?
hours.
Too late. To put in a brief.
No, I brought stuff today.
No, I didn't, I brought your pictures down, since I can't decide, and I can't do like a sculpture, right?
Well,
It's little.
they don't have pedestals there, but we can see if there's a
Show.
table.
Is it in the building next to the church or is it some other building?
The church has a storefront in front.
No
The
one.
church entrance is on Hudson Street. The storefront is on 8th Street. I don't think it has a street number, so it's the corner of 8th and Washington Street.
Okay. On the
St.
east
Matthew
side.
Trinity Community
Yeah.
Center.
Okay. It's across from Margarita.
Yeah, it's right across the street from Margarita's restaurant. That,
Cause
it's across the street from the bus stop. At 8th and Washington.
I've been working on this.
Or no, the bus stop is 7th and Washington, so that's not. No, you can, yeah.
In Washington.
It's 8th and Washington, St. Matthew Trinity Community Center. It's a wonderful place. And actually, next art class, we've got to put a thank you card for Pastor Gary. He's letting us use the stage for free.
Oh, wow, oh, that's very nice.
Yes,
They really show up that church, they show up.
we really do. And I teach art to the people there.
Really?
St. Matthew Trinity buys our art supply. So everyone.
Wow.
We could make a thank you card for Pastor Gary. Let's do it next split.
That was my grandmother's church, she was baptized there.
It's
her
even
funeral was
better.
there.
Better and better. Doing okay, John? Are you all right?
Yeah, hi, Miss Liz. Hi, everybody. I am dropping all my pieces.
Good.
I've been up since 10:30 last night.
You need to put your name on both of them.
Yeah.
Name already. Alice is sitting here.
Yeah.
Let's move over here. Follow me.
Oh. Yeah, I have to.
Oh.
Sign this. Yeah.
I did not bring Sid.
I will.
So. Bottom right, yeah. This is on that one side.
I put it last year.
Red is very nice.
But he, decided one thing, like, Oh, you have not. Where?
Not second. Fourth. On my phone. Oh, no, it's. Oh, there's.
Yeah, that's fine. Just stuff it in there. Thanks a lot.
What were your prices? You just told me you don't want anybody to take it, so I'm assuming you want. That I might need. I love that show.
Laura,
Miles Davis.
Oh, wow.
For the candy. The watercolor, you can actually move the paper,
Yeah.
tilt it, and let the water flow.
Oh, I
the
see what
paint
you're-
flow
I see what you're saying.
wherever it wants to go. There's a lot of paint there, Jen, to use, yeah. Have fun. Love it. Someone has a box of soft pastel. They're concentrated. So Robin is playing Kind of Blue, which is the highest selling jazz record of all. No, just maybe do something by Miles Davis. Just really makes a difference. Folks at home, I don't know. Can you hear the music? No. Too bad.
Fine. You want me to move it to like a, Liz? You want me to move it to like a higher?
Well, maybe if I move it closer to the computer.
Remind us if it's done, if you want to change the volume.
Susan, what about now? Still no. Yeah, too loud. No. Oh, you can't hear.
You're just standing right in front of the speaker right now.
Well, I also have my hearing aids on. Maybe that's. You have to lower my hearing aid. How's that?
All right, so let me repeat this, everyone. Everybody listen up. If you want to sell your artwork, you must be present at the art show. I am not selling for you. Everybody got that? So,
They cannot be responsible for the money. Show me the money. So this is different from the last art show. I forget how we did it last time. People, you did it on your own. Yeah, you were there in person.
Tim is, I believe, at Mama. And Cheryl, this is the Whitney, or I might have it backwards.
No, Mama, yes.
Yeah, go to bed. Have a nice day.
Thank you for the invitation.
I gave you all the postcards. On that to make. Oh, okay. You have a lot of them. Right, have a nice rest. I think he's going home today. His name, get this, Alex.
Oh,
No, his parents have been on an extremely strict
Oh.
diet. Some people not get yours.
You're welcome. Have a great afternoon.
One of the best art lessons we've ever had is art rubber producing. Everybody, I'm thinking very high quality work, everyone. start another one. The new rules are made, my friends. I like both. Why? Or you, you have a different style.
American Express. Yes.
Yes. It's a whole bunch of was a whole. Done, it's done.
I think that's what New York City is about. He volunteered to all the 9/11 recovery, and that's when he died. He got the cancer, so that's why they gave him a whole circumstance. He's 9/11 something.
phone is ringing again. Oh, so this is the most famous song on the Kind of Blue album. I want to listen. This song is called Kind of Blue.
Oh. How many folks want to share? So I just want to get a sense, only 2 people raised hands for sharing. 4 people. 5. Not majority.
Anyone at home want to share? 6 people. Right, so if people want to share, we have 10 more minutes of work. If people don't want to share, we have 15 more minutes of work. Did anybody hear me?
Listen up.
Yes, we heard you.
Okay. But they can hear me. Okay, so if you want to share 10 minutes more, if you don't want to share 15 minutes. When I forgot what. Oh, we're gonna have to clean up real fast. So the public's probably desperate to get out. The longest I left.
Choose it. The longer to the
Not
right.
so far. I haven't left it long this long.
We shall see.
How old is he? He's a year. You should know. You should know not to shoot. Oh my goodness.
No.
No. I think she was 3 years. See, some people think it's serious, still having some people think it's year. Is it grown? It's 3 years. 7 years old. I would.
7 years old. Like
The whole thing fantastic.
not a baby, but still a baby. It's fun, you know.
A lot of you are. It's problematic that we only have one sink. Very nice.
I have his album.
Yeah, it's a great album.
Yeah.
Have you ever heard it?
Yes,
Beautiful.
I know.
It's really close to classical music, though. Eileen is so cool. Yeah, Laura, see, this is a problem that we only have this one sink. Let's check.
Oh, yeah, red, I like black one, like the black one. Announcement, guys, if you're just using the restroom to clean your brushes, you can share the sink. 2 to 3 people can go in at once, if you're just washing brushes, okay? Yes. And I think some people are running out. Oh, no. Oh, big deal. And sometimes we just- Yes. It's on. Worked on everything. I knew you were so far.
All right, if you have not started cleaning, you have 2 minutes.
Liz,
Right,
where's-
everyone's.
Liz, where do you want me to put?
I'm. Probably not gonna have time to share. Mara, you gotta clean up. No frame, don't want it frame. Just put your name. The hanging, the way I'm hanging it.
I'm stopping the share. It's only mother.
Okay.
Thank you so much, Robin, for coming all this way, just so we could hear this beautiful.
Oh, nice. of you. Oh, my God. Blessing.
All right, I think folks at home, you should get to share first today. You were second last week. And Margot, you are first in our queue. Would you like to share? And there she is. Okay, let's.
Worked on something else, but.
It's okay.
Here,
Oh my gosh.
so Falcon.
Very, very, very nice.
Thank you.
Beautiful.
Actually looks like the puppy's face. The puppy I'm babysitting has those kind of big glassy black eyes like that. Wow. No,
Aw.
it's very beautiful, Margot.
Thank you.
Very realistic. You are the master of animals right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's your favorite thing to do, right?
Yeah.
Look at all the wall.
Aw. Aw.
Get one out of my chair so I can sit.
Your cats are ruling your life the way the puppy Zeppeli
They're
is.
certainly trying to take over.
Aw.
Well, enjoy that beautiful painting.
Thank you.
Welcome. And I recommend, well, you gave me your art already.
I did. I'll bring the jewelry when I meet up with you on Sunday. Are we meeting in front of the church?
Not in front of the church, in front of the community center on 8th and Washington.
Mhm.
Oh, it's not a church?
It is a church. The entrance to the church is on Hudson Street.
Oh,
The art show will be in their community center, the entrance of which is on the corner
Washington.
of 8th and Washington, the eastern side of Washington Street.
Mhm.
yeah. Is that uptown or downtown? I don't know what the eastern is.
Eastern is on the river side of Washington Street.
Okay. Okay. All right.
Higher ground, yes. But the upside of Washington Street. And I call A Street Uptown because I live on
Downtown.
3rd Street.
It's really it's Midtown.
Susan calls it Midtown.
Only a mile.
It lives higher up.
Mhm.
Okie doke.
All right. So I'm going to let Susan share. Thank you, Margot. Susan, your turn.
Okay, doke.
Whoa.
Wow.
This is one of your best. Look at this. It's so
Thank
cool.
you.
That's awesome.
I had fun. It was fun.
That's wonderful.
Oh, thank you.
And
The
it
fun part
really
is
reminds
also a
me of-
bonus.
What?
Really reminds me of Miles Davis's work.
Oh, good. Oh,
Very evocative of his work.
thank you.
Wonderful.
I had a
Glad
lot
you
of
had
fun
fun.
doing it. My father had all the albums, the jazz albums. He had Miles Smiles and all. I used to look at the album covers all the time.
Awesome.
Yes. It was fun. Thank you.
I'm glad you enjoyed. All right, Jen, you would be first. Oh, you said you wanted to go last. Okay, we'll start on this side. Ken, you would be first.
Okay,
Grab this in case it rains.
so I got off to a slow start because I didn't really know what to do.
Oh, wait,
It's,
sorry. We have to.
Okay, so yeah, so I sat for a few minutes thinking, wasn't sure what I wanted to do. So eventually I thought, well, okay, let's just do something random. So I started, scribbling randomly.
Abstract, it's called.
Someone had advised me to like use my non-dominant hand.
Oh,
I
Ooh,
just
interesting.
Wow.
Isn't that nice? I like the colors.
it's very Kandinsky-like.
So I
And Miles Davis.
Yes.
kind of like filled it in afterwards and played with texture a little bit. So it's not, but
What's your
Love
medium?
this is the oil pastels.
Okay.
Oh, great.
Thought so, but
Very
I
nice.
don't know what it'll look like once it's done. And it's one of those things that you don't know which way is best. Actually,
it will come to you.
Yeah.
there's that
Maybe in a dream.
where you think you're done and then you can see which way it's even better.
Yeah, I have that same reaction to abstract. I never know which end is up.
You're gonna fit all the shapes or you're gonna leave some?
Very nice, though.
Beautiful.
I decided, but I thought I'd done a little bit more. And I don't know if I want to add more texture to it, gradations and things. I read an interesting thing recently. There was a study where they compared two groups of students. In one group, they tell them to do, the best, art they could. And the other group, they said, just do a lot of stuff. They did a lot more stuff than the group that was trying to do their best work. And the group that did more stuff without worrying about how good it was, they actually came out with better work at the end of the semester.
Funny how that works, right?
Mm.
Stress kills. Even in a positive venue.
My personal philosophy of teaching, right there. Never let people do your best work. Call from Lombard. Right, Diana, you're next.
Well, listening to the slideshow, I did have a few inspirational thoughts, but this basically, I'm in the middle here. This is a depiction of one of my favorite foreign films, La Strada. That's Gelsomina, who was the clown. It's a Fellini movie, and the chains represent Zampano, who was actually very abusive to her. And then in the corner is the fool who she started having romantic feelings about. At the end of the movie, it doesn't end well, but it's inspired by the instrument of the trumpet and the abuse that was said during the course of. I never knew Miles Davis was an addict or abusive to women. So, but I tried to coordinate the candy colors with the yellow and the pink to bring it all together. But if you can watch that, it's an excellent movie. La Strada, Federico Fellini, and Giulietta Messina is his wife. She plays Gelsomina, the clown. It's an excellent movie. Thank you for letting me share.
Well done.
Thank you.
Mara.
Oh, Tamara. Very nice. Very light and colorful. Beautiful.
Definitely not a direction that Tamara would ever go in. Using the face.
I can't see it.
You missed it? Oh,
Yeah.
get her to come back.
It's not, the camera's not on. It's on you.
It's on me?
Yeah.
It's a speaker thing. Put it on gallery.
Oh.
Marvelous.
Oh, wow. Beautiful. Oh, love it.
You achieved what Miles was trying to do. You did with the faces, but in a candy sweet way. Yeah.
So Daniel,
Ah, fantastic.
All these eight.
Michael Jackson.
Yeah. Fantastic.
Very good. I can hear the music.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Billie Jean is not my lover.
Yeah.
Well done. Well done.
Great. Great.
Wonderful. Right?
No. He suffered so much growing up, so we should understand it.
A lot of people
So
have
much
very
harm.
strong
So
feelings
much harm.
about him. Yes. Alina's next.
I love Michael Jackson, and I discovered Miles Davis from Liz last week, and especially he played Human Nature. So I've been listening to his Miles Davis music this week, but unfortunately, I'm like, I have to find a different musician to listen to because both of these guys, they're controversial. And what I made
Oh, nice.
copied of.
Oh,
Very nice.
beautiful, beautiful.
Love the colors.
Very similar to the Davis piece that.
Yes, exactly. That's what I was thinking.
Exactly. Mm-hmm.
Watercolor paint and jewelry.
He's messy.
This was hard for you, right? Because you had to let go of control.
Yes.
You like being in control.
I like neat.
Mhm.
Beautiful.
Do we have time?
It's up to Laura. Can we keep going? All right, Heather's next. Diane, I know you have to go.
Yeah, I gotta catch the bus. Okay, everybody. I wanna see you.
Hey, Heather. One's falling forward.
Oh, beautiful.
That's one.
Mm-hmm.
And then I got this one.
Not recall this.
I got
The one that's, oh, okay, got it.
Oh, love
Oh,
it.
let me see. Oh, wow.
Beautiful.
That is
Beautiful.
awesome.
Excellent.
Love it.
Beautiful. Wow.
Inspired by Miles, great colors, great shapes, great energy. SD.
Ooh, Esty.
Thank you, Heather.
Wow, you really
Oh,
captured it.
man.
You
That's
really did it
terrific.
right.
I love it. Oh, it's great. Wow.
Love it. Love it, love it, love it.
It's great,
Love
Esty.
Miles.
Beautiful.
There's a new kid in town.
You sure? Okay. Linda, do you want to share? Okay, Robin is next. Come on up.
So Tony, copy what was on the
Screen. Just be careful of the water.
So where do I put this? Like here?
Ooh,
There you go, right there. Perfect.
wow, that is awesome.
Beautiful. Wow.
Very good job.
And then the other one, which I was doing.
Oh, wow.
Oh.
Oh, man, I love
Wild.
that.
It was so much fun.
Ah, that's great.
Robin really gets color, I think. Beautiful colors.
Wow.
It does look like fabric.
I tapped into his love of chickens.
I love it. We'll move it to the
That's
middle.
hilarious. That's wonderful.
My son is a very talented musician and artist, and he loves chickens. So I guess
Mhm.
that's why I tapped into it. But
It's like Humpty Dumpty.
my
It's great.
viral thing going on right now. Chicken, banana, chicken, banana. And I sent it to my kids. I didn't get enough of a reaction, so maybe I will.
Funny.
I personally think the banana is winning in this picture.
Chicken, banana.
Funny.
Candies. All right. What a great class, everyone. And we have Miles Davis to thank for that.
Yeah.
All right, everyone, I'll see you next week for our final class in April.
Mhm.
And Sunday, do not forget, April 27th, we will be showing our work here in Hoboken at the St. Matthew Trinity Community Center at the corner of 8th and Washington Street from 11 a.m. till 6 p.m. And you will be able to see some of my artwork at the Newman Leather Building on the 6th floor.
Mhm.
All right, take care, everyone. Be safe. Art on.
Thank you.
Hi, everybody.
A biento.
A biento. Titular.
Bye.
Oh my goodness. Come on.